In many ways, it seems that he has brought the campaign trail here. We found supporters of Senator Sanders cheering him on as he entered Vatican City.
Vatican said the two would not meet. Sanders is there for a Vatican conference on economic inequality and climate change. He'll return to the U.S. later today. The death toll from two powerful earthquakes that struck southern Japan has risen now to 39. Hundreds of people have lined up for rations at shelters before nightfall, bracing for rainfall and strong winds that may set off more devastating mudslides. Sky News reporter Tom Rayner.
There are big problems at airports. Kumamoto main airport has been closed, and around 200,000 homes are now thought to be without electricity.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has expressed concerns about secondary disasters. Funeral today for former New Orleans Saints defensive end Will Smith, shot and killed a week ago during an argument with another motorist. Police say that Smith was shot by 28-year-old Cardell Hayes, who was being held on $1 million bond. Smith's wife, Raquel, also shot during the incident, survived. Featured on the TV series Fantasy Island, the plane featured on the series, the popular 70s and 80s series, goes on the auction block today in Branson, Missouri. Owner Jim Cox of the Branson Collector Car Auto Auction.
This Grumman Widgeon, which was built in 1967, is better known by its iconic name, the plane Boss the Plane.
Legend has it that the plane once was used to smuggle drugs. With 30 million radio listeners weekly, this is CBS News.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to goodclearwater.com. That's goodclearwater.com.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-495-2035. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-495-2035. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-495-2035.
Even though Goldman Sachs has settled with the government over its role in the 2008 financial meltdown, the critics have not been silenced, calling for tougher penalties. CBS's Pam Coulter.
$5 billion is Goldman's fine for selling shaky mortgage-backed securities, but public citizens Robert Wiseman said it's no real punishment.
These companies are effectively above the law, and as long as they know they can escape criminal prosecution, there's every reason to worry about them doing the same thing in the future.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest argued fines do provide accountability and explained why prosecutors didn't file criminal charges in many cases.
The risky bets that they were making were entirely legal.
Regulators say 5 banks are still too big to fail. Pam Coulter, CBS News, the White House.
It's now legal to take a gun to church in Mississippi. Governor Phil Bryant has signed a new law allowing guns in houses of worship, which he says will help protect parishioners from potential attackers. A direct reaction to a church attack in South Carolina last year that killed 9. Gary Nunn, CBS News.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
What, are you going to smoke that?
Nope. You are.
Hell if I am.
Yeah. You not?
No.
Why, you're a Mormon or something? You're Jesus freak?
No, man, I'm not. This is my job.
This is your job.
I can't do that.
Smoke it. Oh, this ain't a test. Just take a hit.
Where the f*** is my stogie, guys?
Flying in.
What do you mean flying in?
Kiss My Ash Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Broadcasting live with Honest Abe, Adam K., the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
Good morning, loyal listeners, libertarians, lovers of the leaf, children of all ages. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Kiss My Ash Radio. I am Adam K., the Brewmeister, with you here broadcasting live from wonderful Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And we are excited to have you with us on a wonderful episode of Kiss My Ash Radio. This is episode number 204. And we are ecstatic as can be to be here today. With me, of course, is the equipmentally issued Honest Abe.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Just broke my mic.
Of course. Right as you start talking, the mic breaks, and this is what happens when you're in the JVC studios.
Why does Colin smile every time he says stuff like that? Look at that silent smile.
It's just the smirk he has of, this is where I work, this is what I do, you know and feel my pain. Yep, that's what he's doing right now, chuckling away.
Speaking of pain, you seemed to do your interview last night in the dojo very painless. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
I was surprised I wasn't getting text messages from you during the entire thing.
No, you actually did a very nice job, and the best part is you were getting drunker and drunker as the hour progressed.
Well, you know,
you should watch it. You should watch, like, the download or the episode. You were slurring a little bit at the end of it.
I noticed I was doing that. I was trying to stop myself a little bit. I was getting a little ahead of myself. I'm like, okay, wait, I got a little bit going on. You got a little beer in you. All right, hang on, make it through.
I'm telling you, I was shocked. When I say shocked, like utterly shocked. On the dojo live, Friday Night Live, they call it, right?
Smoke Night Live.
Smoke Night Live.
Yes, well, for people that don't know what we're talking about, last night I got the privilege and honor of being the featured guest on the Cigar Dojo Smoke Night Live, which
was a shocking request, I thought.
Well, the best part is I'm standing in your office on Tuesday, and all of a sudden we're talking about something. You get a text message, and all you yell out is, "Seriously?" I'm just like,
I did. I'm like, seriously?
What is going on? And he looks at me like,
the Brewmeister on Cigar Dojo.
And he's like, Eric Gunderson wants to know if you want to be on Smoke Night Live on Friday. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, apparently they want you. We're going to do craft beer night. And I was like, okay. So I had the privilege and honor of being their guest, and we talked about local craft beer. We talked about beer, brewing beer.
You guys didn't just talk about local craft beer. I mean, let me tell you something. When they did that buy, sell, hold, they made me do that for the cigar industry.
Right.
Which kind of put me on the spot for a few manufacturers. But basically, I mean, I had to say buy, sell, hold. Man, I thought, like, when they started flipping some of these breweries, I'm like, oh, man, who would know this? You knew literally, like, every brewery. I mean, did they preempt you on that?
Did not. Eric just told me.
Every part of the country, every microbrewery, and not only did you know what it was, you knew about them, where they started. I mean, why? How?
You often don't ask. I have a very large knowledge of beer and a love appreciation for beer.
I know, but how do you know what beers are being distributed in Pohunk, Montana, that's not, being sold anymore?
Oh, well, you're talking about when I was talking about how I pulled out the Kalamazoo Stout when we were going back and forth with the beers.
80% of those beers I never heard of. Not 90%, I'd say.
Well, I pulled out a couple of very newer breweries from Florida to talk about, and some very hard to find ones that just you don't really get a lot about. So that was the real thing I wanted to go with, because it was about your local craft beer was part of it.
Well, Florida, I understand, but how do you know about these beers in other parts of the country that aren't found here?
Well,
is there like a beer digest that you read weekly?
There's not a beer digest, but there's a lot of blogs, and obviously my brewing partner Jamie and I, we talk a lot about other beers. Yeah. Some of my other buddies, we're always talking about craft beer and going to the different breweries and stuff like that. So it's
say this audio because you won't hear this often, but I was pretty impressed.
You know what? Yes. Colin, cut that out. I need that as a ringtone for my phone.
I was very impressed.
Yes, it was a great pleasure to be the guest last night, and, we had a lot of fun.
Those guys know how to have a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
They really do. Eric and
Sensei was putting it back a little bit, too. You can't say that I was the only one who
No, they were drinking, but you started imbibing before the show started.
Right.
Because
you told me to.
I did, because I wanted you to have some personality. How many ounces was that big bottle you drink before the show?
Yeah, started? that's like that's 30 ounces of beer. Yeah, and that's a full 9%. So I thought a good way to get started is with a good hearty saison.
Yeah, you were smiling.
Yeah.
You were actually smiling, for the interview, which is,
I had to put my best face forward.
Not an activity that becomes you mostly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm a very big fan of that. Each week on Kiss My Ash Radio, we like to have a lot of fun, do a lot of exciting things. We give a lot of great stuff away. If you want to win great stuff from us at Kiss My Ash Radio, all you have to do is check us out on the Kiss My Ash Radio Facebook page. We have a couple different contests we like to do. Last week, for our good friends at Cigar, offered up a single torch Illume lighter. All you had to do was post your best golf-themed meme, and in honor of the Masters.
I tell you what, I find it very funny, because some weeks there's like 3 guys who post a meme, and some weeks there's like 20, 30 guys who post a meme. I don't understand what the thing is. Free? Maybe it's the prize. Maybe it's what Cigar's giving away. Maybe it's what Cigar giving away.
Those Illume lighters are fantastic. But Quentin Nation from Shelbyville, Kentucky, he took home the Illume lighter. Congratulations to Quentin.
Was that the fire engine red one?
I don't remember seeing the photo.
Yeah, there's one somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. This week, if you want to win, we're giving away a Black Tech Double Flame lighter and a can of butane, so make sure that it can be fired up at any time. You got to post your best IRS-themed meme.
Oh, yeah,
tax day, which was technically yesterday, even though you have to get your taxes in by Monday.
Yeah, by Monday. Actually, it was my daughter's birthday yesterday. 8 years old, tax day.
So you will never forget her birthday.
Never forget her birthday.
Taxes must be filed, and it's your oldest daughter's
8-year-old
birthday.
Petra. Happy birthday, Petra. Yeah.
They grow up so fast.
Man, like a weed.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
So if you want to participate in this week's Cigar-themed meme, make sure you go to the Kiss My Ash Radio Facebook page and post your best tax IRS-themed meme there. And our good friends over at Recluse Cigars like to give away a 5-pack every week to participants who vote in our Kiss My Ash Radio Iconic Leaf Poll of the Week. Last week we asked you a Hot Woman category. Who's hotter, Rihanna, Megan Fox, Scarlett Johansson, Jessica Alba, Kate Upton, and... yeah, that's all of them.
Rihanna, Megan Fox, Scarlett Johansson.
Someone who wrote this on this page didn't really do a good job of writing it out here.
No surprise.
Yes.
No worries.
Scarlett Johansson and Jessica Alba tied with 36%.
Shocking. Jessica Alba a little bit past her prime.
You know what? She's just got that classic allure.
I was always a big fan. What was that show? Do you remember that?
Yes, it was.
She was like a...
James Cameron did it, I believe.
Yeah, she was, some kind of mutant.
Yeah, it was a futuristic show.
Yeah.
She had the participant.
Colin, come on. What was that Jessica Alba show series?
Dark Angel.
Dark Angel.
Dark
Very
Angel,
good.
Yes, Dark Angel.
You still scared me with that shout there a little bit. A little excited.
I knew I had to get there. I was going to get there in a second. But
look who had the lovely pleasure of joining us.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Did we?
I've been so sick. I could barely get out of bed this morning.
You sound terrible.
No, I'm moving. I've been up since 6 a.m. moving.
Oh.
So I decided to take a quick break and come to work.
Good idea. Great idea.
Because that's what I have time for in my day today.
I'm just curious, since you've been up since 6 a.m., why couldn't you be on time?
Because I've been moving and I've been...
You're in the middle of, packing a box?
Yeah, man, when I'm unloading a truck, I got to just finish the truck. Can't help it.
That totally makes sense. If you want to win this week's 5-pack from our good friends at Iconic Leaf Cigars, you just have to go to the Kiss My Ash Radio Facebook page and participate in our question this week. Which NBA team will win the finals? Because the NBA finals start tonight. Round 1 is tonight.
Sweet 16 now, right?
No, it's technically it is because there are 16 teams in. Golden State Warriors obviously going to be the clear favorite here. The San Antonio Spurs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, or is it not going to be one of those?
Yeah, or
is there going to be a dark horse coming out? Because those are the 4 favorites by far. But you never know.
That's
something
according
crazy
to
might
the
happen.
brewmeister, of course.
Who watches a lot of NBA.
Yeah, I'm not doubting it. I just want to verify where the source came from. That's all.
He's got NBA League Pass.
I'm not,
just make sure you head over to the NBA, head over to our Kiss My Ash Radio Facebook page, participate in this week's poll, and you can take home a great 5-pack from our friends at Recluse Cigars. We've got a big loaded show today. I had the privilege of interviewing astronaut Terry Virts earlier this week. So we're going to play our interview from that.
Did you see his Twitter post? Israel found a Twitter post from him because he was actually in space when he found out Leonard Nimoy died.
Uh-huh.
That's Spock from Star Trek.
Right.
The original Spock.
Yeah, from the original Star Trek, he means too. Yeah. Anyways, he made a cool Twitter post of him doing the Vulcan.
Over Boston.
Was it Boston? You couldn't tell because it was the Earth. He was in outer space.
But they said, like, we're over Boston. He took the photo, and it was him up there because he was up there for 200 days in the International Space Station.
That's some badass stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Bob Stills, Greyhound adoption expert, is going to be here, and Casey from Crux Cigars will be our Meet Your Maker. It's going to be a packed show. We got a lot of fun content. It'll be a great time. Make sure you stick around because more to come. Make sure you're keeping it lit.
The journey of Yarguera began with a very special yet delicate Cuban seed. The Grupo de Maestros took their rare tobacco to the privileged farmlands of western Honduras, where they began a 5-year program to combine its sweet flavors and distinctively aromatic qualities with the robustness of Criollo 98. The result was Yarguera, a genetic hybrid tobacco containing the best qualities of each. Grown on a single state containing rich soil and ideal weather conditions, Yarguera features flavors of coffee and chocolate with hints of nutmeg and cinnamon. Shade and sun-grown versions of this exceptional tobacco are now used exclusively in one cigar, Yarguera H. Upman. Experience Yarguera H. Upman now at your local tobacconist and visit yarguera.com to learn more.
Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause lung cancer and heart disease.
The Oliva family, makers of some of the most affordable yet highest rated premium cigars available. For 7 straight years, Cigar Aficionado has rated Oliva as one of the best cigars, and in 2014, the Serie V Melanio Figurado was crowned as #1 cigar in the world. The Serie V Melanio is known for its rich, big notes of leather framed by a range of coffee, caramel, and woody intonations. So always ask for Oliva, an unbeatable value and uncompromising quality.
This is a La Aurora issued public service announcement. The iconic lion has gone rogue. Breaking out of the original Dominican cigar factory is Untamed by La Aurora. Undoubtedly, one of their strongest cigars proves that not only can their factory provide flavorful sticks, but powerful as well. Taking a fantastic Dominican Nicaraguan blend and wrapping it with an oily Connecticut broadleaf wrapper creates a wild ride of flavor from start to finish. Be aware, this animal is extremely aggressive and should be approached with caution.
Perfecting a seed for over 40 years takes skill. Then again, so does growing the perfect beard.
Take it from Matt Booth, member of Camacho's board of the Bold and the owner of the infamous Room 101 brand. The Camacho Corojo is hand-built from authentic Corojo seeds, built for the expert palate and fine-tuned for maximum flavor impact, consistency, and quality.
From the makers of the #1 cigar in the USA in 2013, the Aging Room Quattro F55 comes yet another highly rated cigar, the Aging Room Bin #1, a full-bodied Dominican cigar made with some of the world's oldest tobacco in the market today, from the harvests of 1997, 98, and 99. It starts out smooth and builds up in strength and flavor until it reaches its full potential. The Aging Room Bin #1, for the true connoisseur looking for a sophisticated smoking experience with balance, complexity, and character. Aging Room Cigars. Blending is in our DNA.
Awarded the 2014 Nicaraguan Cigar of the Year. With numerous 90-plus ratings, the Perdomo 20th Anniversary Cigar celebrates Tabacalera Perdomo's 20 years as one of Nicaragua's largest premium cigar manufacturers. Using only the highest priming tobaccos grown exclusively by the Perdomo family, the 20th Anniversary Cigar has a tremendous profile with layer upon layer of rich, elegant, complex flavors. Visit your nearest authorized tobacconist today and experience the masterful blend of these Nicaraguan puros. Now available in extremely limited edition pyramid size in sun-grown or Maduro.
You know, when it comes to a Recluse cigar, I've often heard people say, Recluse made me smarter. Recluse made me more confident. Recluse cigars made me a chick magnet. While the accuracy of their statements is questionable, when it comes to yours truly, that's 100% me, baby. So do yourself and those around you a favor and pick up a Recluse cigar for yourself or someone who definitely needs it. And do it today.
Results may vary.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
welcome back to Kiss My Asher Radio. We are here broadcasting live in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. I am Adam K. the Brewmeister. With me, of course, the ever-incorrigible Honest Abe, and the glowingly lovely Lady M.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
Happy to be back.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to take a break.
Really?
I seriously been lifting boxes and moving couches all morning.
Well, at least you got started early. So.
Duncan disappears.
Didn't
I gotta love him.
Did you say you had a mover?
I do, but like I'm a very efficient person. My movers are there to move, but like the more I can help and the more people I have, the faster the movers are out. I don't have to pay them. So yeah, I'm moving.
So where's Duncan?
He's at home moving right now.
Oh, I thought you said you couldn't
Nah,
find
he
him.
disappeared to go get coffee and bagels, and like 2 hours later, I was like, where have you been?
Who takes 2 hours to get
Him
coffee?
and Dylan. Dylan.
All I know is since I've been to Florida, we've moved twice. Like, completely moved the house twice. And with children, one time we moved with one child, the other time we had two. And I was out of the country.
I know. I was gonna say, yeah.
I was out of the country.
I moved your house. That's 4 years ago.
I was completely out of the country both times.
Even here, he gets out lucky.
I remember knowing that, thinking that was happening. I'm like, man,
left the country, came back, had a new home.
I felt so
easy as that.
I felt so bad. For
That's
your
what
wife.
That's how men do it.
That's what happened last year with Duncan. He was in the Bahamas, came home to a brand new house.
Smart boy. That's how we do it.
He told me he was gonna leave this week.
We're out there making the money.
He was like, you know what? I might be gone April 15th. I said, then we're not moving that weekend.
The joys of moving.
Thank you, honey.
Yes, good times. But now, let's see what's in a box.
We got a box. We got a box. What? We got a box. I'm gonna open it. Don't look at it. Oh, what's in the box?
Let's ask Honest Abe. Cigar news.
Interesting. Davidoff to make major cuts to their lines. In a major realignment of its cigars, Davidoff is discontinuing 19 Vitolas, including 2 complete lines. The cuts are likely to be followed by the announcement of some new Davidoff releases, but yeah, the lines being eliminated in total are Puro de Oro, which just seemed to never grab its footing.
It never had that classic Davidoff presence.
No, it didn't have. I think their first tragic, fatal error was not putting any bands on the cigars. I mean,
a gold foot band.
Yeah, well, no, that came secondary.
Yeah, that was later too.
I think it was later. I think originally, maybe it did have the gold foot band just in the beginning. I can't remember, but then they added the gold embossed band. It was a packaging nightmare, and the cigar just never had legs. And that's an 8 Vitola offering. And they're killing the Maduro line, which dates back to 2008, because I do remember a day when Davidoff said that Davidoff will never make a Maduro cigar. It was said.
Right.
Not in their future, not in the Davidoff philosophy. Then they broke it, and now they're taking it back.
We'll break it back.
Yeah, the Maduro didn't seem like it ever...
Is the Nicaraguan not a Maduro, or is it just
No.
it's not called a Maduro?
No,
it's not a Maduro. Okay.
No,
definitely
not.
No? Are you sure?
Also, on the chopping block are number 1 and number 3 from the Classic Series, Grand Cru number 1, number 4, number 1, number 2 of the Adversarios, and the Lonsdale and Lancero Millennium Blend Vitolas. Very odd to have a Lonsdale and a Lancero in a line. I mean, it's different, but similar.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's like cousins getting married, you know? It's odd. It's weird.
They do that in some cultures. It's not frowned upon.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
The House Committee on Appropriations for Agriculture is expected to pass its version of its proposal for the 2017 fiscal year, and that includes some language that would exempt premium cigars from regulation by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
This was big news this week. In fact, Coop on the Dojo last night kind of hit on it a little bit.
Yeah, basically they had Glenn Loop come on to Stogie Geeks TV on Thursday and basically gave a giant synopsis of it, and I think the biggest thing that I got from Coop last night, and I think the one thing he didn't mention that we should take away from this is the first time that we've actually had someone other than like a senator or a congressman to sign onto the bill do something in the progressive format for cigars.
Yeah.
It's the first time there's ever really been kind of like there's a lot of steps to happen yet to where we're in the clear.
It's a very small step
but
in the right direction. In a major direction.
Somebody actually came forward and actually did something progressively good.
Right.
And trying to get the exemption happening and actually put some language down that says, you know what, this is wrong and we shouldn't be doing this.
And this is basically the Department of Agriculture that did this.
Yes.
So where does it go from here? What needs
it has to go to the House to be approved as part of the budget. And then
any hopes of that happening?
there's probably some good hopes. And then it has to go to the Senate, and it has to get through the Senate. And I think from what Glenn and Coop said last night, too, was there's a lot of anti-tobacco people in the Senate, so they might look at that and they might strike it down. But it's also got to could also have a presidential veto. So there are a few steps that have left to go, but it is a good step in the right direction, and we're actually making some progress. So, yay, everybody in Washington.
Very, very interesting. All right. Warp Cigars Maestro del Tiempo coming for 2016 IPCPR trade show. Kyle Gillis seems to be keeping himself busy. Warp Cigars will unveil a new brand called Maestro del Tiempo. The name Maestro del Tiempo means master of time. Doctor Who. He's a warlord. Had to throw that in there. This is a name that is appropriate for the project, as it has required some patience to make sure the blend would result in exactly what Warp Cigars was looking for. Maestro del Tiempo will be a Nicaraguan Puro available in 2 sizes. Tobaccos used come from different farms and lots in different regions that are under the Aganorsa umbrella. These farms and lots were different from what Warp Cigars were used to working with, and the process to bring the concept together took longer, but at the same time it allowed Warp Cigars to bring a unique aspect to the blend. Should be interesting to see.
I know, we've had Kyle on the show and like twice.
Never mentioned
twice
it.
No, like I kept hinting at it. He's like, I have something in the works, but I'm not ready to talk about it. I'm not ready to give out a name. I'm not ready to do anything. Even when he was there at the 200 episode, I'm like,
now
come
we
on,
know.
Give me a little something. He didn't give us anything. Crazy.
Oh, man. What else?
Viaje Cigars is getting ready to release a new extension of its Exclusivo line. What will probably be another rare and limited production item. The Exclusivo Reserva uses a concept that was used in the past with the Viaje Oro and Platino Reservas. The Reserva features tobaccos that have been aged longer, and once the cigars are rolled, they are going to be rested for an extended period of time. So make sure if you're into Viajes, you check those out in the next coming weeks. And that's what's in a box.
That's what's in a box this week, along with a lot of Emily's furniture and clothes is in a box this week.
And lots of trash bags. I actually found that this move, trash bags are a wonderful source of packing.
And eventually, you can use them to actually put trash in.
And I just throw them down the stairs. They just roll.
Well, yeah. Well, if
I was
it's closed,
playing. Yeah, that's what I did. All of our clothes, and Kingston was sitting down there on the bottom of the stairs, and he wouldn't move, so we were just throwing bag after bag. He was just like,
I'm sure he loved
it. It was like bowling.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Casey from Crux Cigars. He's going to be our meet-your maker. We're going to see what's going on and learn all about Crux Cigars, and we're going to have a lot more great, exciting content when we come back on the 204th episode of Kiss My Ash Radio. Make sure you're keeping it lit.
Taste in cigars, as in all things, is largely a matter of personal preference. Quality, on the other hand, can be held to measurable standards. The De Crossier brand embodies excellence, crafted using time-honored old-world traditions that date back to the 19th century. From the minute you light one of our fine cigars, you will savor what has been called by many the best-kept secret in the cigar industry. This message has been approved by Santana Diaz, candidate for 2016 Cigar of the Year.
Congratulations, champ, on winning your exhibition fight. What are you going to do to celebrate?
I'm going to smoke one of these amazing Leaf by Oscar cigars.
You mean Leaf by Oscar?
That's what I said, Leaf by Oscar.
It's called Leaf by Oscar, and yes, they are amazing cigars.
See, now you're making me mad. I just want to enjoy my Leaf by Oscar cigar, but you're making fun of me.
It's called Leaf by Oscar.
That's 2 knockouts. Now I get to smoke 2 Leaf by Oscar cigars.
That's Leaf by Oscar.
Quality and value are always the 2 biggest determining factors for consumers when making buying decisions. Casa Bella by Sindicato Cigars offers superior flavor, quality construction, and an affordable everyday price. Completely handmade in the Dominican Republic, these value-priced, smooth yet flavorful cigars are comprised of Dominican and Nicaraguan filler tobaccos, and they're available in natural and Maduro wrappers. Visit sindicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer of Casa Bella cigars.
Hey, cigar enthusiasts, did you know your personal freedom to enjoy a fine cigar is affected by some form of smoking ban in all 50 states? Additionally, taxation on premium cigars is at its highest level in history, with some states taxing at an astronomical rate of 75%. Finally, there's a solution. CRA, Cigar Rights of America, is the first and only non-profit public advocacy association fighting for your freedom to enjoy a fine cigar. Don't just sit there. Become part of the solution. Become a CRA member today. Membership is only $35 a year. That's less than $3 a month. And as a special bonus, CRA will send you 2 limited edition cigars as a way to say thank you for joining. Visit cigarrights.org for more information and to become a member.
I could barely remember, but my first time was on my boat. Winning!
My first time was in the locker room at the gym after a grueling workout. My first time was on a cool, crisp morning right on the 18th hole.
Everyone remembers the first time they had Hex. Hex cigars are the perfect balance of body and flavor that will have you reminiscing long after the embers have gone out. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer today, because you will always remember the first time you had Hex.
Look, everyone knows working out sucks. If getting healthy and in shape was easy, everyone would be doing it. But imagine an environment where workouts were specially designed for dramatic physical changes, where you have personal supervision of a certified trainer and a group of supportive, like-minded individuals working alongside you, constantly motivating you to do your best. This is why CrossFit has swept the nation. Check out CrossFitChrome.com for our newest location in Boynton Beach and see how you can get your first month for only $29. That's CrossFitChrome.com. Eat, sleep, Chrome, repeat.
When a child is diagnosed with cancer, their life and their family's life changes dramatically. Chemotherapy treatments, doctor visits, and trips to the hospital soon consume their time. The programs and services provided by the Kids Cancer Foundation make it possible for the foundation to meet the needs of our young patients and families. We could not provide these resources without your support. For more information and to find out how you can make a difference in the life of a child battling cancer, call 561-333-8116 or visit kidscancersf.org.
Sponsored by CLE Cigars.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. Adam K, the Brewmeister, broadcasting live from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And with me, of course, the lovely Lady M.
Hello, hello.
And the incorrigible Honest Abe.
Yo.
Yes. And now it's time for what we consider to be one of our favorite parts of the show.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
This week, Kiss My Ash Radio is pleased to welcome Casey Haugen of Crux Cigars. Casey, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
So, this is your first time on the show.
Correct.
This is the first time we've ever... This is the second time we've met, because we met a couple weeks ago at the Lazona Palooza. Yes.
The dodgeball queen, Duchess.
Maybe Prince, dude.
Duchess,
I don't know.
Duchess,
Is there
Duchess.
like a
The Dodgeball Duchess? I like that. That's pretty good.
Duchess.
The Duchess of Dodgeball.
double D's? No, triple D's. Dodge.
Okay.
Oh, no, DVD.
Stop while you're at it.
So, all right. Where do we even start to begin?
Well, give us a little bit about your history
There
from
you go.
Minnesota. How did what were you doing? How did the brand, Crux?
Well, Crux originated, it starts even before that. Jeff Haugen, my cousin, and his business partner, Joel Rogers, have been in the retail industry Jeff's been at like 23 years. Joel's been his partner for like 17, 18 years, and they've had a store called Tobacco Grove in Minneapolis, Maple Grove, Minnesota. And I started working with them like 2007, 2008, when I was in the off-season of playing baseball, and really got into cigars with Jeff, my cousin, and then I decided to move on from there and, get out of Minnesota, because after traveling the country for a few years, you realize that there's warm places in the world other than Minnesota. So I moved out, and we always had talked about, this adventure that we're going to go on, hopefully in a few years when Jeff was ready, and, then we'll go on it. So I went out and did my thing, and then about 3.5 years ago, he called me and said, I'm ready. And Jeff's the one that's, kind of been the pioneer for it.
Developing the cigar.
Developing the cigars. He does all the blends. He does. He spent a lot of time in Central America. He did roughly 3.5 years of research when he was going down to the factory once a month for over 3.5 years, and then said we need somebody to run all the operations, do quality control, check on the factory, and I was living in Vegas and said I didn't want to get into cigars because, to me, that thought it was moving back to Minnesota with the family. So I said, absolutely not. And he goes, why?
Got to keep the buffer zone.
So he goes, well, what if you could move to Florida? I said, done, I'm in. So that started about, we've been on about 3 years ago we started that, and, here we are today, and, life is pretty good.
You don't have the Minnesota accent.
Minnesota, no, hey, don't you know? Yeah. Well, fortunately, I got to travel a lot.
Good for you.
I got to travel a lot, and my parents are both educators, so, education was a big deal for us. So, but traveling all over the country, Canada, all over this country, and, I can blend in a lot of places, so.
So you mentioned you were playing professional baseball.
Correct.
I mean, how long were you doing that? Did you get drafted? Or
I did not get drafted. I graduated from a small Division III school in Minnesota called St. John's University, where my dad's the head baseball coach. That's kind of why I got to play. But
good old nepotism.
But then
that always helps.
But then I was actually going to be a financial advisor going out of college. Baseball wasn't in the future, and I was driving to buy a car, and I got a call from an independent league team in Fargo and asked me if I wanted to play baseball for a living, and I said yes. And that ride went for about 2.5 years. I was kind of the 10th man on every team I played for, so good enough to be there, not good enough to stay put, as I call it. But I was a catcher. You wouldn't have guessed that. You would have said second base.
Yeah,
I was going to say
catchers are usually bulkier.
Yeah, well, I was a little bigger then.
Okay.
I used to work out, and I used to be in shape, and now we just smoke cigars. But so that was about 2.5 years of 4 different independent teams throughout the country, and I played on a team in Canada, Fargo, Shreveport, Louisiana, Evansville, Indiana, and then I didn't even have a cup of coffee at a team out in Washington. I drove out there, and they told me to go home. I didn't even get a cup of coffee out there, but they told me no more, so I went back, and I was, that's when I really was, helping Jeff out back in, Minnesota, and then I was just like, there's better places in Minnesota for me. Some people love those 4 seasons.
If you're just joining us, we're with Casey Haugen of Crux Cigars, and Casey, so you get a call. They want you to come down to Florida and handle distribution. Now, you guys are working hand in hand, or your location is in the Espinosa factory here in Miami? You're doing your own distribution, sharing warehouse space, is that what it is?
Yeah, basically when we came down 2 years ago, we were getting ready to look for our own operations, and Jeff knew Eric very well, and he had just moved into the warehouse that they're in today, and he said, we got space, and why not? This can be easy development for you, and they've been great for me. I mean, being able to get in there and have people that are Hialeah Gardens natives, where I'm a white boy from Minnesota, walks in a different community, and we do our distribution out of there. So that's been a great easy transition for us to get into being able to move things throughout the country.
Who is actually making the cigars for you guys?
Our cigars are being made at Placencia. Jeff does all our blending. And then we have our people in Placencia that are rolling our cigars.
And how much are you guys actually getting output for per month per se?
Well, that's kind of been the biggest problem for us. I mean, we've learned the biggest problems we've had is obviously is production for the first 2 years of a company trying to grow at that slow pace. We're trying to make it so we can get the best quality cigars that we can out of the factory, as well as trying to supply the demand of the consumers or the retailers that want it. And for us, it's trying to grow at that right pace, trying to be able to support the customers that we have, but then also try to improve our production quality and quantity to be able to maintain all that level. So it goes up and down. We just launched our new Limitado release last week, 2 weeks ago now, I think it is. That was just a 500 box, 10 count. We're looking forward to our new release that comes out. I'm going to start using the word future instead of dates because
you never know.
Because coming from the golf business where I was, a deadline meant guaranteed to have it.
Mm-hmm. Not in this industry.
Then I found out the first time I told somebody it was coming out September 15th, 2013. They're like, cool, whatever. And then I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, it's 2 weeks behind schedule. And they're like, you mean 2 months? I was like, well, so The Guild is coming out in the near future.
Welcome to Latin time.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned that's the biggest adjustment for me from the golf business to the cigar business is the time management.
We got time before the break?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the lines, the Crux lines. I mean, you said you got a new release coming out.
New release coming out. Well,
Tell us about the line itself and the new release.
Well, so we launched originally at the 14 IPCPR was when we came out with our first release. Our first release came out one month before, which was kind of an interesting cigar. It was a 7x33 double perfecto called the Nympha, old and Cuban-sized Nympha. And we released that to get some buzz, and then that was great. And then we got to the show and we released our core lines, which are the Bull and Bear, which is a larger ring gauge format, 55 to 60, Classic line, which is ring gauge 47 to 52, and then a Passport line, which is ring gauge 40 to 48. And then we have a Skeeters, which is a 4x32 Perito, all long filler. And then since this year, we've came out with another short, small format, which is a Sports, 4 5/8 by 35, and then we came out with the De Connoisseur series, which is 2 Lanceros, 7.5 by 38, 6.5 by 38, and a Panatella 5 5/8 by 35 off that old Partagas De Connoisseur series. So we've done a lot of things. We tie in some old Cuban history into our cigars, kind of because we're from Central Minnesota. We weren't going to make a complete Cuban-esque brand for who we are. We want to stay who we are, so we try to tie some of that Cuban history into some of our sizes and shapes.
Interesting. Well, that's really interesting. We're going to have a lot more with Casey when we come back from the break and learn more about what Crux actually means and where the name came from. So make sure you're keeping it lit.
Hi, this is Rocky Patel, and I'd like to invite you to try one of our decade cigars. This premier cigar received a 95 rating from Cigar Aficionado, one of the highest ratings ever afforded by that magazine. It's a beautiful Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper with fillers from Nicaragua and Honduras. This cigar is medium to full-bodied, rich, complex, yet elegant and well-balanced. I promise you, you're going to love the decade. Try it.
Cigar, the world leader in cigar accessories, has done it again. One of their best lighters is now even better. The popular Enigma Double Jet Flame lighter is now the new Enigma 2. Complete with a new clean design, this lighter was re-engineered for dependability and performance. It feels more ergonomic in your hand, and new internal components give it the horsepower you need. Like everything Cigar, this comes with the incredible lifetime warranty. Cigar for life.
Some football players today remind me of Cuban cigars. They're weaker, they talk too much, and they don't pack the same punch they used to.
Take it from Mike Ditka, member of Camacho's Board of the Bold, and check out the new Camacho Corojo line of smokes. Built for the expert palate and fine-tuned for maximum flavor impact, consistency, and quality. Pick one up today.
Swag Cigars, offering a cigar for you. From the medium-bodied Swag Puro Dominicano, the full-bodied Swag Black, and now the new Swag Brown Connecticut with a flavor profile not usually found in milder blends. The flavor profile takes you from creamy smoothness to a place no other milder cigar has ventured. Available in full-grade sizes, shipping to stores near you in August 2015, and priced right. Boutique Blend Cigars. Blending is in our DNA.
Since the dawn of time, the universe has been constantly evolving. Now experience the evolution of flavor. Sindicato Cigars, available in Ecuadorian shade-grown Corojo and San Andres Marron wrappers, are beautifully crafted by master blender Arsenio Ramos. Using a double-leaf binder and meticulously box-pressed, Sindicato Cigars provide the perfect draw to deliver the evolved flavors you won't soon forget. Visit SindicatoCigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer of Sindicato Cigars.
Look, everyone knows working out sucks. Getting healthy and in shape was easy, everyone would be doing it. But imagine an environment where workouts were specially designed for dramatic physical changes, where you have personal supervision of a certified trainer and a group of supportive, like-minded individuals working alongside you, constantly motivating you to do your best. This is why CrossFit has swept the nation. Check out CrossFitChrome.com for our newest location in Boynton Beach and see how you can get your first month for only $29. That's CrossFitChrome.com. Eat, sleep, chrome, repeat.
To infinity and beyond.
That is where Affinity Cigars will take you. These mild to medium cigars use only the finest select high-grade Ecuadorian Connecticut tobacco, creating a cigar that delivers a smooth, rich, creamy smoke with the gentleness of a mother's touch. Affinity Cigars have become America's go-to cigar for that flavorful yet unintimidating smoking experience. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. This is Adam K, the Brewmeister. With me, of course, the effervescent Honest Abe and the ready-to-get working Lady M.
Let's do this.
And we are here in the meat and potatoes of our Meet Your Maker segment with Casey Haugen of Crux Cigars. And Casey was just telling us about the blends and the lines. Now, before we met at Lazona-Palooza a couple weeks ago, Eric Jr. told me that you guys have a very interesting story about how you came up with the name Crux.
We have a very interesting story. Well,
it's a very.
He looks surprised.
That's what Eric told me.
Might be interesting to him too.
I would love to hear Eric's interesting story of how we came up with it, because going through the whole process of selecting a name. Like I said, we're from Minnesota, so we were going to try to stay to our roots. Something that was not like, hey, we're El something, with Spanish names in it. So we wanted to say something that kind of stayed with us, but
staying gringo, if you will.
Well, you didn't name it, so
true,
that.
True. It wasn't El Blanco, so
right.
So you have to find a word that you can trademark through the industry, and there's some think tank processing going there, and it ended up being one of Jeff's best friends would always just say, "What's your crux?" And name kind of hit him, and all of a sudden, that doesn't sound bad, and crux actually means like crossroads, decisions. So, taking the time to choose your crux for the day. I mean, are you going to go to work? Are you going to work hard? Are you going to go earn that chance to get a cigar? Are you going to make the decision where, today's the day where you're going to take the day off and enjoy the cigars on the golf course or with a stout or whatever you're going to do? So crux, is a versatile word that we liked. That sounded cool and, has a great story, according to Espinosa.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you hear a more interesting story?
No, he just said, when you get him on the radio show, you got to ask him about it. I'm like, okay, I will, and I made sure to denote that. You guys also have some very nice text that you guys are using on these bands, and it's more. Is that more of a sword, or are you going with a cross on the X in there?
It's more of a sword.
That's what I thought.
And that's Mark Dom, who's our designer. He does all our graphics, all our designs. So he's absolutely fantastic for us, and we.
And where did the sword idea come from? Was it just something he said, or just wanted to go with?
It kind of comes from the history of the word crux. It has some Latin in there as well. Right. So there's the crux gave us the sword with the red Swarovski crystal. That's our reoccurring element that people find to be absolutely elegant. Also a pain in the ass for ballistics when you're doing shirts and hats. So we actually put that on there. Everything except our golf ball, because it doesn't fly as well with that on there. But we wanted a recurring element. So you have the name Crux, and then you have the sword that can gen into a brand recognition as well. So you also have that Swarovski crystal on there that is eye-catching. It stands out, and it's just something that we wanted to do to look forward with branding.
Speaking of the golf ball and the crystal didn't work, you're an avid golfer too?
I am an avid golfer. I'm a big fan of golf. If I wasn't smoking a cigar playing golf, I would rather be doing not a whole lot of
Are you a good golfer?
I used to be. I was in the golf business for 5 years.
Better than baseball or what?
No.
Just kidding.
He got paid for baseball. He got paid for baseball.
I was a fairly good golfer when I spent a lot of time playing golf. And in Vegas, I played probably 100 to 150 rounds a year.
Wow.
Now I play about 3 rounds this year so far. Wow. So my handicap now is my work ethic and my job. So I used to shoot, in the mid-70s. So, but now I'd be happy to go out and break 90.
Wow. Me too.
Now, you were in the industry for a while? You mentioned something about the golf industry.
Golf business.
Business.
When I went to Vegas, I was fortunate enough to luck into a job running a golf company called Paradise Golf. We did, concierge stuff. We had a retail store and some online sales that I, basically took that company and we grew for 4 years when a guy bought the company and, brought me along. And I was fresh out of baseball, needed a job, and said, I'll play golf, and had to do a little bit of work along the way. But so that was where I kind of got my first fingers dipped into running a company.
I love this guy's career life. Let's see, got paid to play baseball, then went golf, now he's doing cigars. I mean, pretty good.
I'm still looking for my first job.
It's pretty good. You've done pretty good, my friend.
Pretty good. Nobody? No?
What was that?
That was Larry David.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, at least somebody got the reference. All right.
I didn't get that reference.
All right.
I was like, what's he doing?
He just wants to copy you, basically.
I didn't know where that was coming from.
Hey, that was a good one. Hold on, let me do it too.
You went pretty good, so I was like, if you're going to do that, you got to go pretty.
All right, we're good. All right. We're good.
Yeah.
So, Fred Rui said something very interesting to me a long time ago. Somebody asked him, he's like, what separates you from every other gringo that's trying to get in the cigar business?
What separates me and Crux Cigars from every other gringo? Well, there's the past of Jeff and Joel have, between them 40 years of retail experience in the cigar industry, a lot of business knowledge, and the fact is the passion that, they have and instilled in me in cigars, and like we just said, having a career that's not a real work. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's really fun. And so what sets us apart is the fact is we have a lot of experience from the retail perspective of, the packaging we use, the sizes we do, trying to make that box a little bigger for different cigars. But what really sets us apart, I think, is the fact that Jeff and Joel have spent so much time down in the factory. I mean, Jeff spent 3.5 years going down once a month for the fact that he didn't just go, hey, let's pick a cigar, let's make it, and let's put a brand on it. I mean, he wanted to learn the process from the seed to all the tobacco he's using, and he did a SWOT analysis of every factory down there and wanted to find what would be a best partner for us as a company to try to continue to grow as we start from the beginning all the way until see where it takes us. So what sets that apart is the fact that we have a great relationship with the Plasencia family that allows us to do a lot of different things. And people say the Plasencia factory, I mean, they are second to none in the tobacco they grow. So that gives us a lot of opportunity to choose from basically the largest warehouse of tobacco to have a lot of different unique blends. And that's when Jeff has been the freedom to go down there and choose the tobacco and make a lot of different cigars with different tobacco from different regions, from different countries.
Now, do you run, what's your day-to-day involvement in the company? I mean, Jeff's obviously going down, working on the blends. Are you just handling the fulfillment and distribution here in Florida?
No, I do, between Joel and I, who's the other business partner, we do oversee all of our sales. I do all the distribution part myself. Joel and I do sales, and then I'm with quality control out of the factory.
Now Joel is still in Minnesota.
Joel is still in Minnesota, yes.
Okay, so when you guys saying sales, are you guys hitting the road?
Yes.
Really?
Joel is leaving, I think, tomorrow to do the Midwest again. I'll head to Atlanta here in a couple weeks. Jeff and I were just in Texas beginning of March.
When you're on the road for a couple weeks, do you have staff in the office that are shipping out orders, or who does that?
Well, what I try to do is I try to make sure I can get back to Miami for at least one day and the weekend so I can get everything boxed up. So there's a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends.
Wow.
But I do also have, the Espinosas. They do, if I need them to.
They'll help out.
They'll help out. Eric's definitely been a help for me. Super great. I mean, those guys are my family in Highlight Gardens. I mean, those guys are absolutely fantastic.
Are you married?
I am single, so we got that going for us.
Don't you live in
I thought you were going to be like Emily.
No, you got eligible guys. You got friends.
I got friends.
Friends? Come on.
Not in Hialeah Gardens, though.
Well, I live in Sunny Isles Beach, so there's
that's cool. That works.
I live right on the beach, right there off.
I got some friends that are like that. Yeah.
There you go.
Condo on the beach, seeing the beach and the intercoastal.
I got lots of friends that line up.
There you go. Hook a brother up.
Gee, thanks for the offer after all these years.
They've already said no to you.
They think you're creepy.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's see if we can play a little rapid fire here with Casey Haugen of Crux Cigars. All right, you ready, Casey?
I'm ready.
Worst job you ever had?
Haven't had a job. No, I take that back. The worst job I ever had was when I think I was 15. I worked as a dishwasher for a fish and whiskey restaurant in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
That's pretty bad.
Anton's Fish and Whiskey. Great food.
Angriest you ever been?
Angriest I've ever been. Probably when I was released from a team in Winnipeg.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to be in Winnipeg anyway.
True.
Yes. It's very cold there. Favorite sport?
Golf.
Last lie you told?
Last lie I told? Probably my favorite sport being golf.
Job you were fired from?
Baseball.
Have you ever committed a crime?
I plead the fifth.
Good man.
Good call.
Smart.
Worst date you ever had?
Worst date I've ever had.
Future date with Emily's friend.
The next blind date. That'll be the worst one, I can tell.
What music are you ashamed that you listen to?
What music did I? Oh, wow, this is a good one. Probably Justin Bieber.
No, so wrong.
You're right. You singing it the other day.
Have you seen that new album?
I don't know one Justin Bieber song.
I have the CD.
I don't know one Justin Bieber song.
He's a Taylor Swift fan.
Taylor Swift is great,
She's
too.
great.
I'm not ashamed of that one, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. I happily admit to it. I will sing it for
I'm
the
not
Raptors.
ashamed of that one.
No, you shouldn't be. You only have 24 hours left to live. What do you do?
Try to break onto Augusta National and play golf.
Excellent decision.
Look at him.
Excellent decision.
And last but not least, paper or plastic?
What?
I prefer to carry it.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was a grocery question.
Probably.
Is it?
Yeah, paper
Even
or plastic
though they no longer
Oh.
ask you that question anymore, back in the old days they used to, but pretty much it's all automatically just plastic.
Yes.
They don't really give you
Well,
the
you should
option.
use the reusable bags. That's
Yeah.
more economically sound.
Yes. My wife, they're so economically sound, my wife keeps losing them and having to keep buying them every week.
Because they know.
One time we got like 6 in the house, and then you go to the grocery store, there's like one lying around. Where did
I
the
always
5
put
go?
like 5 in my car, and then I go into the store, and then I forget the 5, and then by the time I get back to the car, I'm like, ugh, it's in plastic now.
They
Too late.
deliver groceries now, by the way.
Yes, they do.
I gotta sign up for that.
Yeah.
Ship shopping too, if you want to sign up for that.
Just what you need to have another duty that you don't need.
Absolutely. Well, Casey, thank you for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. Best of luck with Crux Cigars. We look forward to seeing the things you're coming out with at this year's trade show. And, hopefully the new line doesn't take you forever to get back out.
You got a website?
Yeah, cruxcigars.com. We use hashtag social media. Go Crux yourself. One of our fantastic ones there. Trying to be a little edgy, trying to be a little safe.
I like it.
So go Crux yourself.
Absolutely. So Crux Cigars, at Crux Cigars, Facebook,
At Crux
Twitter.
Cigars, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. www.cruxcigars.com. And looking forward to the new stuff coming out, and then even newer things that we'll announce at the show this year.
Sounds great. Casey, thanks for being here. Make sure you stay tuned and keep it lit.
Palm Beach's hottest party and best value at Spearmint Rhino on Okeechobee and Military Trail. It's the Vegas party scene and entertainment at local prices. When's the last time you've been to the Rhino? Friendliest staff and service with awesome specials.
Like $2 Eucala, including Grey Goose, Crown Royal, and even import beer.
The Spearmint Rhino, where the real party happens. Don't forget about $10 Tuesdays and Friday Power Hour. Free well drinks from 5 to 6 p.m. Palm Beach's best value at the Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club. Spearmint Rhino Gentlemen's Club.
I smoke Padilla. Hear me roar. Living in this land of political freedom, Ernesto and Carlos Padilla, the sons of the lion-hearted writer and poet Alberto Padilla, once imprisoned by the Castro government and whose forefathers grew tobacco in our beloved Cuba, are proudly blending cigars that continue the magnificent Cuban traditions of cigar making. Visit your local tobacconist and ask for the unique smoking experience that is Padilla. One puff of Padilla and you'll roar too.
WSWN Belgrade, the new 900 AM, the talk of the Palm Beaches, and online at 900thetalk.com.
CBS News, I'm Jim Taylor. These are children on the Greek island of Lesbos, where so many refugees are trapped right now. Through an interpreter, this is the Pope telling them.
This is the message I want to leave with you today. Do not lose hope.
Reporter Nick Barnett is there to see the spectacle of the Pope mingling with the migrants.
He met with refugees, families, men, women, and children lined up along the entryway where he was able to shake their hands. Some of them were even able to talk to him. Some of the children were seen handing the Pope some drawings that they made for him.
Pope Francis taking back to Italy with him 3 migrant families. Bernie is back. Senator Sanders spending some time at the Vatican with the Pope in the middle of a presidential campaign. Is this a political trip?
If I was really being political, I'd be in New York City right now and not here in Rome. For me, the issues that the Pope is talking about are issues that I've been talking about for many, many years.
In Wyoming, Republicans picking delegates today. Ted Cruz expected to clean up. There's been an earthquake, a couple of them. In Japan, at least 40 people dead. Twin quakes, more than 1,000 injured. 7.3 quake ripping through a southern island today. Sky News correspondent Katie Staller.
There have been more than 230 aftershocks now, so, people are working in very difficult conditions, trying to find anyone who may still be trapped beneath the rubble, trying to reach any survivors. And as the Prime Minister himself has said, he has said that time now here is critical, that this is a race to save lives.
One firefighter dead, another recovering, shot while responding to a 911 call in a Washington, D.C. suburb last night. WTOP reporter Dennis Foley has more.
A concerned family member called 911 worried about a loved one. Two firefighters, 37-year-old John Olmschneider and 19-year-old Kevin Swain, knocked on the door but got no response. Concerned, they forced their way in and were shot. Olmschneider died at a nearby hospital. Swain was flown to Baltimore Shock Trauma, where he's expected to recover. The concerned family member was also shot but should survive. The shooter surrendered to police, who continue to investigate. Dennis Foley for CBS News, Washington.
Today is Record Store Day, international celebration of independent record stores, in-store performances, exclusive releases, mostly on vinyl. Let's just drop the needle into the groove of this Beatles classic. Here's co-founder of the day, Carrie Colleton.
It's to promote the fact that there are independent, locally owned mom-and-pop shops in their community providing physical media and enjoyment and a place to gather and talk about music.
Jerry's Record Store in Pittsburgh is continuing its annual tradition today. A mass vinyl giveaway packed in closed boxes of 100 LPs. The shop is handing out 20,000 of them. This is CBS News.
I've been teaching organic chemistry for the last 17 years, so I'm pretty good with complex calculations. But when I started thinking about my retirement, I was pretty stumped. Luckily, I have TIAA as my financial partner. Together, we retrosynthetically analyzed my financial future, which is organic chem speak for we figured it out.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
You can get your IRA or 401k delivered to your home in the form of physical gold and silver coins. Augusta Precious Metals is the leader in home delivery gold IRAs. You get free shipping, free insurance, and no professional management fees. Call 855-858-5807 now for your free guide to Augusta Home Delivery Gold IRAs. Call Augusta Precious Metals at 855-858-5807. That's 855-858-5807. Trust Augusta.
The home furnishings market is a big deal in North Carolina, but this year?
Some 75,000 buyers and sellers normally attend the Spring International Home Furnishings Market. Market organizers are warning that thousands will skip the event in protest of North Carolina's new law that eliminates discrimination protection for LGBT people. Richard Geiger is a local tourism official.
Will that have an impact? Absolutely. Fewer people come to the furniture market. Fewer people stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, spend money here.
The furniture market boycott is one of the several protests over the new law. Jim Crisula, CBS News, High Point, North Carolina.
New poll outs by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research finds that the Republican presidential candidates win in a landslide when the issue is rudeness. Survey shows 78% of Americans, including most Republicans, do see the GOP race as discourteous. Only about half as many say the same about Democrats. I'm Jim Taylor, CBS News.
And now, a touching moment. Well, staying in touch with Geico.
Just the other night, as I gazed up into the sky, I saw a shooting star. In that moment, I made a wish that Geico would be available 24/7, by phone, on the web, or with the Geico app. After that, I realized my wish had already come true. So basically, I had just wasted a perfectly good wish. Then I started to think about dolphins and felt better right away.
Geico. Anywhere, anytime.
This is Charles Osgood. The new high-performance Latitude systems from Dell are the most secure, manageable, and reliable business-class laptops and 2-in-1 computers, so your employees can do their best work. They're outfitted with the latest Intel Core processors, so your team can reduce their downtime by 50% and boost their productivity with 4 times the performance. Make your work beautiful again at Dell.com/radio. That's Dell.com/radio.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K., the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
What a beautiful morning, yeah! I hear the birds chirping, my dreams smelling good, feeling like I should.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. I am Adam K., the Brewmeister. We are here in hour 2 of episode 204, broadcasting live in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Welcome, thank you for joining us today on Kiss My Ash Radio. With me, of course, the lovely Lady M and the extroverted Honest Abe.
I tell you what, man, they got Casey running around doing... he's doing quality control, he's doing shipping, he's doing events, he's doing sales.
All kinds of fun stuff. It was definitely great to have him. And now we have another special guest with us today. Bob Still is a member and golf tournament director for the Palm Beach Cigar Club Golf Classic, coming to you on May the 14th. Bob's extensive past professional career in sports and marketing made him the clear choice to head up this program. Bob has served such organizations as the Golf Course Superintendent Association of America, the PGA of America, and the National Alliance of Youth Sports. Bob, welcome to Kiss My Ash Radio.
Thank you very much, Adam. We're really looking forward to this today.
Bob, I've been in Palm Beach County 18 years. How am I not a member of the Palm Beach Cigar Club?
Well, we've got to get you out there. We just started.
Do I not make the cut?
No.
Do I not make the standards?
Everybody that loves a cigar is welcome to be a part of this. There's no dues or anything, but it's just a group of guys that started a little over a year ago, gathering on the first Wednesday of every month at Winston Trails Golf Club at the Avanti's restaurant that they have there.
That's why I don't golf.
And it was, but you know what? About half of the group golfs, the other half just cigar lovers. And what we do is we meet about 6 o'clock, have a cigar. We then go inside for $20. We get a 3-course dinner with a beverage, and then afterwards we come back outside and have another cigar. And just tell stories. Oh, yeah, it's a great group.
How many guys show up for this?
We've had as many as 50. We've got average probably is around 35, 40 every month.
Very good.
So, yeah, and we're just getting things kind of started. And last August, the guys decided, they said, we should do a golf tournament. So we did a golf tournament. In 3 weeks, we put together an event. Actually, it took about 6 weeks, put it together, had 60 players. And ended up giving $500 proceeds to the Wellington Boys and Girls Club. And from that event, we did a postcard to every player, and we said, what charity would you really like us to get involved with? And half of the group had talked about dogs, everything from all kinds of different charitable groups, and a lot of the others had veterans in there. So this year, we connected ourselves with the Awesome Greyhound Adoptions Program, which is a fantastic nonprofit 100% volunteer where they train the greyhound dogs that come from the Kennel Club, and then they become service dogs for our military right here in South Florida.
Oh, so it's a 2-in-1.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fascinating.
That's awesome.
And how long has this charity been around?
Well, they've been around for about 5 years, and they've placed several dogs already. It takes about 4 months and around $4,000 to $5,000 to actually do the training of these dogs. They pay the vet bills, but the volunteers, it's 100% as far as the people that live with these dogs for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And I mean, their commitment and dedication is amazing. And when you think about a service dog, you think German Shepherds, you think Labradors, Golden Retrievers. You wouldn't think about a Greyhound. But the Greyhound is so strong. Their muscular makeup is so strong. They make for great service dogs, especially with people that have Parkinson's, muscular sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, and then the PTSD. These dogs are basically trained to do nothing but run. Once they're done running their races, they're calm, they're gentle. Wow. And so they make perfect service dogs for these kinds of people that need that kind of a soft approach. And so I just give my heart out to these people that have the time to do this. And to see these guys, once they have a dog, and how they come alive. Some of these vets that come back from Afghanistan and Iraq who have, really suffered and given a lot for our country. And to see how they come back out of their shell once they have that dog as a partner with them.
It's a true unconditional affection that you don't have to worry about what's the motive, what's the bias. And I think that's what makes it so easy when it comes to something like a dog. Emily's about to cry. She's going to do it on the air. She's on the edge. Look at
Oh, I can tell you some tear-jerking stories.
Those stories, please, those stories.
Just one? No, come on. So you guys are going to have this golf tournament on the 14th. It's going to be at Winston Trails?
14th of May, so we have a month to go. It's at Winston Trails. It's a scramble tournament, so you do not have to be a great golfer. This is the part that makes it fun. This is going to be one of the most fun events. If you're a golfer, this will be one of the most fun golf tournaments that you could be a part of. It's a scramble format. Men, women can play together. We play what's called a birdie or a bogey is your friend, so nobody's going to be out there shooting 20s on one hole, and we also have scorekeepers with every team, so nobody's going to come in at 25 under, where they use that eraser a lot. So it's a fun setup.
You mean golfers wouldn't keep the right score? No way.
Cheats?
No way. How unethical.
I am an honest golfer, and I write down every single
I believe you are.
So what is there a cost? What's the cost to enter into this tournament and the details?
All righty. Well, it's $99 to play in the event. For the $99, you're going to get a pack of cigars we have 8 different cigar sponsors that are part of the event right now. The cigar companies that are involved with us, if I may share that with you,
absolutely,
is Camacho, My Father's Cigars, I don't know if I'm
La
Jugada, HVC, Leaf by Oscar, Espinosa, Perdomo, and Drew Estates will all have reps there and or their cigars in the gift packet. We also have a lighter from Lotus that'll be in the gift packet. You're going to have more than $100 worth of value in just the cigars and the items that we give you in addition to all the things that are included in the golf. You get the golf, you get the dinner. There's a nice Italian dinner afterwards that we're going to have as well as part of that. There's a silent auction. There's also a raffle with all kinds of stuff. And then we have a couple of live auction items as well that we're doing. So it's a really fun, fulfilled day.
How does someone register? Where they go to the website or
Absolutely.
Number to call?
We have a website now that's set up for this event. It's pbcigarclubgolf.com. And you can go to our website and get all the information about the tournament itself and everything there, as well as everything about the awesome Greyhound Adoptions Program. But you can do everything right there. It's 100% tax deductible. You can do it with a MasterCard, Visa, American Express, or even through PayPal. So it takes care of everything there. You can buy. And this is something I want to emphasize to your listeners, especially if they're not in Palm Beach County area. And I know that you're in Atlanta and some other areas.
Sure.
If you'd like to just support the event and be helpful, you can go on the website, you can make a donation, you can buy raffle tickets, and we'll be able to contact you if you want to participate with raffle tickets. So there's ways you can help even if you're not in this area.
Definitely.
And that's why we really appreciate AB having us on.
Absolutely. Bob, give us that website just one more time.
Okay. It's pbcigarclubgolf.com.
Perfect.
And if people still wanted to volunteer or help out or sponsor a hole or something like that, is that still available?
We do have hole sponsorships available, and again, it's great value. It's a $115 donation. For that $115, they're going to get a hole sign at the course, of course, the day of the event, but they're also going to be linked onto our website then for the remainder of the year.
Wow.
So you can go to their website, click it, and your company's got a year's worth of advertising basically for this as well. So we appreciate that we can do that.
Any closest to the pin, any longest drive contest,
Absolutely.
fun stuff like that?
Like I said, this is going to be one of the best fun tournaments you can be a part of. There's a closest to the pin. There's a longest drive contest. There's a putting contest before the tournament itself. And all of this is included. I want to emphasize this, too, to the golfers that are out there that have played in a lot of tournaments, and you end up paying $150 or $200 to play. And then when you get on the golf course, they're hitting you for $10 here and $20 there. Everything's included, so there's no additional costs out there to go digging in your. All of that's included, and then the only thing really is buying raffle tickets.
Here's my $10 because now I gotta go and get entered into the close to the pin, and then I just shank it off, and it's in the sand trap.
Right.
Ruins my $10, and I feel like crap for the next 2 holes.
Well, and at the end of the day, your pocket's completely cleaned out, and I know that that's important to a lot of the charities. But what we're really trying to do here is create a value first. And then raise money, as I say, for this great organization.
If I wanted to just sign up an entire foursome, can I do that?
Absolutely. You just go to that website. You can put in how many players you want. You list a number. It's got a spot where you can put the names of all the players that you want in on your team, and we'll have you taken care of. Right now, we've got 16 teams in the event already now for this year.
Wow.
So we're looking, we'd love to get 20, 25 teams. So there's plenty of time still
Sure
out there
there
and
is.
get some people
Absolutely.
to sign up.
Now, this dinner you do once a month at the club, invitation, somebody just shows up.
Just show up. Come here, or then give me a call in advance.
Is there an RSVP or
not at this time? The way the way we've set it up. No, the way we've set it up is it's just kind of been the inner circle of the people who know about it at this point. But certainly anybody can give me a call if they wanted to come, and I'll be happy to put them on the list so that they can come and join us in May. I think I don't have the calendar in front of me for the
might
exact
surprise
date.
you 1 month.
But absolutely, and like I say, it's just a group of guys. There's no affiliation to any particular shop or anything. I mean, we just all get together and we talk about what we enjoy, and so it's a really fun event. We've had a couple of the reps that have come by, and stopped in. Pete Hernandez, I'm sure you know very well.
That guy will go anywhere for a free meal.
Absolutely.
If you feed him, he will come.
He almost looks like you, Abe. He looks like he's had a few free meals in his life.
I've never been so insulted. I've never been so insulted.
Could be your brother.
Yeah.
Really?
But anyway, yeah. I mean, that's really the best part about it.
All right, so it's the Palm Beach County Charitable Golf Tournament that's going on May 14th. Spots are still available. Just give everybody the website one more time.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's pbcigarclubgolf.com.
And if people want to find out more information about the club itself, where can they go and get information about that?
They can give me a call at 561-670-8489. Once again, it's 561-670-8489. And they can also go to, we have a Facebook page that's Palm Beach Cigar Club Golf.
There you go. Easy enough.
Check it out on Facebook. Great times. Bob, best of luck with the tournament. We hope everything goes swimmingly for you. And with the club as you guys continue to grow and just have a good time. Thanks for being here. Tell us everything about it.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, I want to add one other thing.
Absolutely.
One other thing. We are going to have in the raffle a bottle of Havana rum and some cigars from Cuba, because I'm going there next weekend.
Nice. Oh, yeah, great trip.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm doing a 3-day trip over there.
I have to follow up with you. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I've got 15 T-shirts from the Kansas City Royals. I'm a big baseball fan, and I'm a Royals fan. And so I got 15 World Series T-shirts from the Royals that we're taking over there. We're going to just drive down the road and find a little kids playing baseball and give them those T-shirts as part of the deal.
That'd be
have
awesome.
some fun with that, too.
Absolutely.
So, thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. Enjoy going to Cuba. Make sure we can't wait to see how this whole tournament goes, and best of luck with the club. When we come back, more exciting things, and we're going to hear from Terry Vert's Astronaut Extraordinaire. Make sure you're keeping it lit.
Hoya de Nicaragua proudly announces the release of Cuatro Cinco Reserva Especial, a carefully modified recipe containing a unique and exceptional selection of barrel-aged grade A fillers and a beautiful silky shade-grown habanero wrapper from the legendary Jalapeno Valley. Produced in small quantities, this exceptional medium to full-body cigar will continue to captivate consumers with its rich Nicaraguan complexity, subtle woody and sweet flavors, and a velvety finish. Try a Cuatro Cinco Reserva Especial today.
Keeping Cuba's most coveted traditions for 3 generations, the legend continues with San Latano. With signature blends by AJ Fernandez, available in a smooth and creamy Connecticut, a hearty, rich San Andreas box press, Maduro, and a robust, full-bodied Habano. AJ Fernandez continues the legacy with his new creation, the prestigious San Latano Oval. Using ultra-premium aged tobacco that takes a whole new shape and balance, the San Latano Oval is now available in both a Maduro and Habano wrapper. Visit your local tobacconist today and ask for San Latano Cigars by AJ Fernandez.
25 years of excellence in the cigar industry has allowed Nestor Miranda and Miami Cigar to become household names. Going into their 26th year, they celebrate by rebranding one of their cornerstone lines, the Nestor Miranda Collection. Innovation in design and style makes NMC one of the most modern brands on the market today. 3 different wrappers allow for this line to be an anytime smoke. Ecuadorian Connecticut for the morning, Nicaraguan Habano just after lunch, and a broadleaf Maduro for your nightcap. You only get one life. How will you live yours?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. You're listening to Kiss My Ash Radio.
Are you looking for a new out-of-the-box, ready-to-smoke go-to cigar? Then look no further than Boutique Blends. Boutique Blends offers a wide variety of strengths, profiles, and sizes to appease even the staunchest aficionado. Crafted from the finest in small-batch Dominican tobaccos, Boutique Blends has a cigar to satisfy all taste profiles. From the highly rated and acclaimed Aging Room Cuatro, the new Aging Room Maduro, or the Swag Pro Dominican, find the highly rated boutique blend cigars at your nearest tobacconist today.
The A. Flores signature cigar brands out of the PDR Cigar Factory in the Dominican Republic are a must-have for every cigar connoisseur. Whether you smoke the A. Flores Seri Privada, the AFR 75 Edmundo, or the Flores E. Rodriguez 10th Anniversary Reserva Limitada, you will find yourself experiencing truly unique cigars that set new standards for superior construction, smooth draws, and flavor complexity. Visit your nearest tobacconist and ask for the fine cigars of Abe Flores, the hottest boutique cigar maker in the industry.
When you light a Davidoff cigar, you set aglow the richest tradition of cigar making in the world. You release craftsmanship achieved by our investment in that most precious of commodities, time. The time it takes to create a Davidoff cigar as it passes through 600 hands before it arrives in yours. The time it takes to age and mature the tobacco which fills a Davidoff cigar, sometimes as much as 10 years. The time it takes to hand pick, hand roll, and then carefully hand check each individual cigar before it is fit to wear the legendary Davidoff white band. In every second of enjoyment, there are decades of experience. In every way, it is time beautifully filled.
Monitor 3 humidors at once from one simple device. Caring for your cigars is easy with the new PuroTemp wireless hygrometer from Cigar. You now have the ability to monitor the humidity and temperature in 3 humidors without even having to open them. Ensure protection by setting simple alerts that will warn you when your cigars are not in the optimal environment. Like everything Cigar, this is backed by their lifetime warranty. Stop by your local tobacconist to purchase yours today. Cigar for life.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. I am Adam K, the Brewmeister, and with me, of course, the incomparable Honest Abe. Incomparable.
Couldn't get my headphones on. They were
Now,
awkward.
did I give you enough audio now?
Yeah, I hear much better.
Okay, yeah. Turned it up a little bit.
Layer much?
That's all you got to do.
Layer much.
So the lovely Lady M has vanished off to go try and finish moving.
Checked out. I don't even know why she showed up.
Because she felt obligated.
Then be on time. If you're obligated, be on time.
Also, good point. I'm not going to fight the fight that we are here for. But we now are going to, every now and then, we find some interesting audio out there in the world. Yes.
She's going to come storming in this door any second.
As long as she only punches you.
Yeah.
We find some interesting audio. Now, this was an interesting thing that actually Lady M found, where this woman was freaking out because she thought she was going to miss her Disney cruise.
I haven't heard this at all.
I haven't either. I just know that John and Emily both told me it's hysterical. So apparently she freaks out because she's going to miss her Disney cruise and wants these people to pay for it.
This is just audio, or is it actually a video?
This is actually just the audio.
But they actually have a video.
The video
There's a video
is
of it. Wow.
There's a video on Facebook.
All right.
Yeah. So Colin, go ahead. Let's hear what we got here.
All of us! Philadelphia! I could have driven there in the 4 hours that we're waiting here! They sent somebody over there this came recently.
She does not sound happy.
Don't give me this and you're all gonna pay for my Disney cruise and you're gonna pay for everything else here! I'm getting everyone's name here because you're all in. Take their names now. I am. I'm going to write everything down. And I want everything. I'm sorry. You lied to me. You lied to me.
Now this is in an airport, right? Yes. So we're trying to get on a plane.
Waiting for her vacation. And my 13-year-old. And me. And you're telling all this to all these people.
My question is, do you get on a plane with this woman?
No. If I'm I was once in an airline where a guy was rude to the woman at the gate.
I'm getting what we want. We're waiting all our life for this. I'm waiting for this Disney's cruise for a year already.
So I'm waiting for a year, and I'm waiting for it all my life in the same sentence.
Now, Emily said that she ended up making her cruise anyway.
It made it on time.
After all
keep
that.
in mind, too, that she actually did make the flight on time, and she made the cruise just fine.
So, how long was she waiting, and why? Was it just a random weather delay or something?
Yeah, it was a weather delay. Everything was canceled, so she really had no right to be mad at the airline.
I'm saying, like, do you get on a plane then with that woman after witnessing that?
The
best part is you find out you're sitting next to her on the plane.
The worst part is, like, if you're the airline staff, how do you just tell this woman, I'm sorry, if you're going to act like this, you're not getting on a plane today until you learn to act like an actual human being.
Yeah, but the funny part too is you can see her kids in the video like cringing and clutching their dolls and things like that. It's absolutely hilarious. They're like so far away from their mother. It's awesome.
Kids definitely scarred for life.
I tell you what, it reminds me, I don't know whether it's a true story or urban legend, but one of my favorite stories, but something like this about a dude having a major tirade in the airport because they wouldn't let him get on the plane early or whatever, and he kept screaming and yelling at the lady behind the desk, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?" I guess he was somebody special. I don't know. And finally the lady goes, "Excuse me, but does anybody here know who this gentleman is? Because he seems to have forgotten who he is." Yeah. Now, I don't know if it's an urban legend or a story, but I've heard this story.
Oh, that would be great. It's like this one time I was in Atlanta, and this guy was just going off on this flight at this poor woman working the desk about getting on and boarding, and that he needed to get to a different flight, needed a different ticket or something, and just starts cursing at her and going crazy. And she says, "Well, I guess now you're not going to go anywhere today because we're going to ground you, sir." And decided that.
Oh yeah, you cannot mess with the airport people.
Yeah.
You cannot listen, we were out when I went to the Night to Remember dinner in New York, right?
Yes.
I'm sitting next to a guy, and I know something's going on because when I'm boarding the plane, the wait stewardess is talking to the pilots, and they all got this concerned look on their side, whatever. I don't know what's going on. Because usually, they greet you when you walk in, but they don't greet nobody. Right. I sit down, this guy's sitting to my right, I walk by him. Next thing I know, the lady comes, she goes, "Excuse me, sir, but the light... no one can get here to repair the light for 45 minutes. All right, so this dude sitting in the plane's like, "Well, how am I going to read my paper with no light? This is at 8:30 in the morning, okay? The plane is bright as day.
The little button above
little light
is broken."
He's like, "What are you going to do for me?" This was his response. "What are you going to do for me because the little light button didn't work?" Right? And she says, "We're not going to do nothing. We can get a mechanic here, but it'll take 45 minutes. What would you like to do?" And I'm like, if this dude says, "Bring a mechanic," I was going to go ballistic. Then a dude across the aisle says, "My light works. I'll switch with him." Yeah, he switched seats. He switched seats to read his newspaper.
You gotta be kidding me.
All the windows open, 8 in the morning, bright. I'm telling you, you meet the weirdest people in the airports.
Oh, yes.
Weirdest.
Oh, that's why I
hate flying.
This is why I created a game for whenever I fly. It's called Airport Bingo.
What's that?
Basically, you just find the most random things. I am yet to not see someone wearing a cowboy hat, no matter where I am in the country.
That's probably a good game.
You know, people from an amusement park dress, all kinds of fun stuff. It's a lot of fun. But sadly, only I play. Well, when we come back, we're going to hear my interview with Terry Virts. Make sure you're keeping it lit.
Makers of some of the most affordable yet highest-rated premium cigars available. For 7 straight years, Cigar Aficionado has rated Oliva as one of the best cigars, and in 2014, the Serie V Melanio Figurado was crowned as #1 cigar in the world. The Serie V Melanio is known for its rich, big notes of leather framed by a range of coffee, caramel, and woody intonations. So always ask for Oliva, an unbeatable value and uncompromising quality.
This is Eric Espinoza, and over the years, many cigar aficionados have enjoyed my highly rated brands. 601, Murcielago. In the spirit of continuing improvement, I have purchased my own factory, La Zona, in rich and fertile tobacco region of Esteli, Nicaragua. After almost 2 decades in the cigar industry, I have created a brand I finally feel is worthy of my name. Espinoza cigars are made with only the finest tobaccos, hand-selected and aged to perfection. Our cigars are bold in flavor, yet refined to the palate. For more information, visit EspinozaCigars.com.
From the makers of the #1 cigar in the USA in 2013, the Aging Room Quattro F55 comes yet another highly rated cigar, the Aging Room Bin #1, a full-bodied Dominican cigar made with some of the world's oldest tobacco in the market today, from the harvest of 1997, 98, and 99. It starts out smooth and builds up in strength and flavor until it reaches its full potential. The Aging Room Bin #1, for the true connoisseur looking for a sophisticated smoking experience with balance, complexity, and character. Aging Room Cigars. Blending is in our DNA.
The recently released Perdomo Double-Aged 12-Year Vintage is an extremely rare blend of Perdomo's finest and most cherished 12-year-old fillers, binders, and wrappers. Bale-aged for 10 years and then barrel-aged in bourbon barrels for an additional 2 years, these exquisite Nicaraguan tobaccos are bursting with rich, complex flavors. Offered in Connecticut, sun-grown, or Maduro, available at only 250 authorized tobacconists worldwide, the Perdomo Double-Aged 12-Year Vintage is a must-have for every cigar enthusiast.
Look, everyone knows working out sucks. If getting healthy and in shape was easy, everyone would be doing it. But imagine an environment where workouts were specially designed for dramatic physical changes, where you have personal supervision of a certified trainer and a group of supportive, like-minded individuals working alongside you, constantly motivating you to do your best. This is why CrossFit has swept the nation. Check out CrossFitChrome.com for our newest location in Boynton Beach and see how you can get your first month for only $29. That's CrossFitChrome.com. Eat, sleep, Chrome, repeat.
To affinity and beyond. That is where Affinity Cigars will take you. These mild to medium cigars use only the finest select high-grade Ecuadorian Connecticut tobacco, creating a cigar that delivers a smooth, rich, creamy smoke with the gentleness of a mother's touch. Affinity Cigars have become America's go-to cigar for that flavorful yet unintimidating smoking experience. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer.
When a child is diagnosed with cancer, their life and their family's life changes dramatically. Chemotherapy treatments, doctor visits, and trips to the hospital soon consume their time. The programs and services provided by the Kids Cancer Foundation make it possible for the foundation to meet the needs of our young patients and families. We could not provide these resources without your support. For more information and to find out how you can make a difference in the life of a child battling cancer, call 561-333-8116 or visit kidscancersf.org.
Sponsored by CLE Cigars.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
I'm feeling high, champagne fly. Work hard every day till we reach to the goal. This are for the people them we work hard. All who want to the mark.
And welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. And now we've got a very special guest for you today. Lots of children everywhere grow up to be astronauts, but few actually get to achieve that goal. With me today is Terry Virts, who has over 213 days of time in space and has been a resident of the International Space Station. Terry, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here.
So, had you always wanted to be an astronaut, or when did you first get the bug to go into space?
You know, it's something I've wanted to do ever since childhood. The first book that I read as a kid was about the Apollo program. And as I grew up, I had a bedroom with walls full of F-16 posters and star and astronomy posters. And it's just something I've been interested in ever since I was a kid, ever since I can remember.
Now, after spending months in space at the International Space Station, what's something that people don't understand about being up there for, you were there for almost 2 months. What's something people don't understand that boggles the mind of being up there for that long?
That's a good question. Actually, the most recent flight I did was 200 days, so it was a long, almost 4 seasons on Earth up in space. And when you think of astronaut, you think of launching and landing and rendezvous and spacewalks and all this exciting stuff. And we did all of that, but 95% of our time was just a daily work schedule. And so you wake up, you got a conference call with the ground, you go do your science experiments, go do your exercise. And so most of the life of an astronaut is getting work done. There's a lot of work that we're doing on board the space station. But in between this kind of daily work schedule is you get to float, which is unbelievable. I mean, it's just the coolest thing. And then whenever you get a chance to look out the window, you're looking at the Earth or the stars or the heavens or what, it's this odd mix of daily life punctuated by unbelievable, unearthly experiences every day.
Absolutely. And after you come back from something like 200 days, what is the weirdest thing about being back on Earth besides just having to deal with gravity?
It's funny. I actually readapted to Earth amazingly quickly. My son turned 16 when I was in space.
Mm-hmm.
So the day after I landed, we were out car shopping. He said it's time for a car. Of course, I wasn't driving. It took me a few days. There was a pretty significant dizziness that I had. And I was able to walk. I was able to do everything. I just did it slowly and, carefully for a few days. But the thing that was most surprising was how quickly I recovered, physically very quickly, and even this dizziness only took a few days to go away. It was kind of surprising after 200 days.
That's fascinating. And if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the astronauts who went up with one of the Russian cosmonauts on a Russian shuttle the last time, right?
I did, yeah. So I launched out of Baikonur in Kazakhstan, which is the same place where Yuri Gagarin launched 55 years ago for the first human in space from the same launch pad.
Wow.
And so that was quite a ride. I was with a Russian cosmonaut, Anton Shkaplerov, an Italian astronaut, a lady named Samantha Cristoforetti, and then myself, and we were all packed into this little Soyuz capsule.
Now, what is the biggest difference from flying on the old, which are now retired, U.S. NASA ships to go
Space shuttle.
The U.S. space shuttles to the Russian cosmonaut shuttles?
So there's a lot of difference. The very different vehicles. The Soyuz is designed to take 3 people into space and get them back to Earth. There's not a lot of room. It's extremely cramped. It basically has one purpose. There's not a lot of cargo or payload space. There's a small, basically like a bedroom drawer is what you have to bring into space. The shuttle, on the other hand, was humongous. It was over 200,000 pounds, just the space shuttle orbiter itself. It had a big payload bay that you could put whole satellites in there, and it could carry 50,000 pounds into orbit. It could carry a crew of 7 with a robotic arm. So the space shuttle was this self-contained, payload-carrying laboratory. You could do spacewalks from it and everything. And the Soyuz is just a very small way to get people to and from space. They both work and they both serve their purposes, but they really are really different.
And if I read correctly, you've got over 20 hours of spacewalks under you. What's it like to just actually be out in the nothingness, attached by a very thin thread to a giant thing that is just floating through space?
So I've had, as an Air Force fighter pilot and test pilot, I've flown a lot of airplanes. I've done a lot of things. I got to fly the space shuttle. But I must say there's not anything like doing a spacewalk. I have not had that opportunity ever before, and it was pretty incredible to do the 3 spacewalks. And it was not a matter of being scared or dizzy looking down at Earth, but it was more a matter of you have got to be careful and you've got to pay attention to what you're doing, every second. For each one of these spacewalks is about 6 or 7 hours long. Mm-hmm. And you just can't let your guard down. You can't just sit down and take a break. You've got to hold on the whole time. You've got to make sure all your tools are tethered so they don't float away. And everybody's watching you. For the average day of my 200 days in space, frankly, the eyes of the world are not on you most days. But when you do a spacewalk, there's an awful lot of people watching. You're in the news, and so you really don't want to screw that up. So it requires a lot of attention and focus.
Speaking of it being like the greatest thing, one of the greatest things you've ever experienced, there's been a lot of work now into the creation of these space tourism companies, like SpaceX and Virgin Galactic, trying to get into be the first to create easy-to-use tourists going to space. As someone who's been to space, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think in general, and in principle, it's a great idea. It's amazing. I travel all around the world, speak to people, and people are just very interested in space. It's just a human, natural thing to be interested in space. They're amazed when they meet someone who's been there, because there's only been a few hundred people who have had the privilege of going into space. And so I think there's definitely a desire there. There's certainly a market. I think there's a business case that could be made for some of the different modes of transportation they're looking at. But one thing to keep in mind is it's not easy. you've got to go, in order to get into orbit, you've got to go over 17,000 miles an hour, and that requires just an amazing amount of energy to get started, and also an amazing amount of energy to get you slowed down again. And so that's just not a safe thing to do by, modern American definition of the word safe. And so whoever flies into space as a tourist or as a professional NASA astronaut is going to assume some degree of risk. And I think that's why it's been kind of slow going, and the companies are running into challenges. It's something that's doable, and I'm excited to see it happen. But there is definitely an element of risk there, too.
Now, in that same way, there's also been a lot of talk in the last couple of years about creating these trips to Mars. Now, as someone who's been to outer space, do you feel like Mars is the next step in our growth of planetary exploration?
I think in the 21st century, Mars is clearly the goal for humanity, in space exploration. The moon, I think, is a great place to go as a testing ground to test out the technologies, because even though we went there in the 60s and 70s, we didn't go there. Like our parents and our grandparents went there. So the new crowd of engineers and astronauts are going to need a place to test things out. And Mars is many, many, many months away. The moon's only 3 days away, so it's a great place to test things out. But the moon has basically no water or atmosphere. It's a 2-week-long day, a 2-week-long night. The radiation environment there is very dangerous on the moon. The moon's just not a great place for people to live permanently. Mars, on the other hand, has a 24-and-a-half-hour day. There's a very thin atmosphere. It's not breathable, but there's something there. There is water. If you have a small telescope, you can look at Mars in the winter or summer, and you can see the polar ice caps. You can actually see water on the surface of Mars from Earth. So there is a lot of similarities between Mars and Earth, and for the long term, I think it would be great for kind of a permanent next big destination.
And on that same token, you've got all these publicly funded companies that are trying to privately raise funds to do it. What do you think about just trying to get the average Joe to be the first colonizer of Mars?
Well, we had President Kennedy in the 60s, and he gave a wonderful speech that motivated the nation to go to the moon. And he said, I believe this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon, and most importantly, returning him safely to Earth. So I think that was an important phrase in President Kennedy's speech. So I think, astronauts who go there are going to have to be able to put up with a fair amount of isolation for an extended period of time, knowing that they are farther away from Earth than any human has ever been. But on the other side, psychologically, they're getting to land on Mars, and then they can look forward to coming back. So they're going to have a lot of challenges, but they'll also have a big carrot out there in front of them, which I think is going to make that mission pretty awesome.
Oh, fantastic. Scott Kelly just returned from a year in space, and, you were up there for almost 200 days, which is just over almost an entire year. He was there to see the effects in the human body and how this could actually go as an experiment to see if someone could actually stand to be there for an entire year. Have you ever spoken to Scott or ever gotten to know him at all? Or?
Well, yeah, actually, when I was the commander of the space station is when Scott showed up. So we actually spent 3 months together in space, and I was his first. I got him started on his mission. Oh. He and Mikhail Kornienko was the Russian cosmonaut. Right. They were together on this year in space. So. That was the goal, was to see some of the physiological effects of a year in weightlessness. And I've seen Scott. I was at his house last week, and I was there when the day he landed. So he's doing great and getting around fine. And the Russians have had, actually, Valery Polyakov back in the 90s was on board the Mir space station for over 400 days. He's the record holder. So the Russians have had several over a year flights, and then we just had Scott and Misha just spent the 340 days in space. So people have been in weightlessness for a long period of time. Everybody has different effects, but with the workout equipment that we have now, with some of I took a regimen of vitamin D to help my bones out. I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me personally, I did not lose any bone density, which is a big concern. Mm-hmm. I lost 0.0%. My muscles were in great shape when I got back to Earth. I did 20 pull-ups the week I got back, and so I can say, at least from my point of view, people can stay in weightlessness for a long period of time and come back to Earth in good shape.
Now, I've heard that occasionally astronauts and those that are in space, they like to play pranks on each other. Do you have any funny stories of when you were on the space station or anything, of some prank or something being played on anybody?
You know, that's funny. That's one of those things you got to be careful about, because you don't want somebody to actually think there's an emergency going on or something. I remember messing with one of my crewmates. We pretended to call like we were the ground calling, and only we just were speaking on the intercom system, so not on the radio that actually went back to Houston. But we made it sound like the ground was calling. That was pretty funny. We got a good laugh out of that.
Especially if they're trying to get some sleep when you don't really know whether it's day or night.
That's true, and our sleep quarters have a door that you can close it, and it gets pitch black in there, and otherwise the day and night happens every hour and a half, and the human body clock would not work very well on that.
Absolutely. Now, you were also involved in putting a couple of the pieces together on and adding some additions to the International Space Station. Now, that's like billions of dollars in technology and equipment that you're in charge of. Is that scary at all, or what's that like?
It is amazing. On my first flight, on my shuttle flight, we installed 2 modules, and I was the robotic guy that had to grab these 30,000-pound modules and move them and attach them with the robotic arm. And I remember thinking that was pretty stressful, because, like you said, there's a lot of millions of dollars that went into building these modules and doing the mission, and that was actually probably one of the most stressful moments of my shuttle flight.
And you only get one shot at it, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, especially on the shuttle, the thing you only got one shot at was the landing. I mean, it's a glider. When it comes back to Earth, there's no jet engines on it. It can't go around, and so it dives at the Earth very steeply, very fast, and you get one chance to land on the runway. So that was exciting.
Now, as a shuttle pilot, you're also, before you go back, you have to do a full 360-degree turn around the space station, so everyone that's still there can view to see if there's any issues now actually when we still were using the space shuttle, that's what they had to do, if I'm not mistaken. That's true. That's right. I was the pilot, which is the equivalent of a co-pilot on an airliner. And so the commander did the docking and rendezvous initially, and then when it was time to leave as the pilot, I got to fly the undocking, and I got to do a fly around. And, man, that was fun to be at the controls of a spaceship in outer space flying around the space station. And I'll never forget, right as we flew over top of the station, looking down, we came over the Himalayas, and it was a cloudless day, so we flew, like, directly over Mount Everest as we were flying over the space station. That was pretty awesome. Wow. Now, as you're gliding down and coming back to Earth, what's the sensation of all those G's rushing at you? Yeah, it's a lot more than you would think. The shuttle especially was pretty gentle. It was less than 2 G's, 2 times the force of gravity, which isn't that bad. As a fighter pilot, you don't even notice it. But having been in weightlessness, 2 G's feels like an awful lot more G's than that. And then when you get back to Earth, I remember the commander, George Zamkin, and I sat there, and we shut the shuttle down, and we're flipping switches for about 30 minutes, and we were the last ones to leave. And one of my fellow astronauts came in to help me, get me out of the shuttle, and I was doing great. And he said, "All right, I'm ready for your helmet." So I reached to grab my helmet and hand him my helmet, and I was like, "Oh, my God, this thing's heavy." I said, "Be careful, this thing weighs about 500 pounds. And so you really felt pretty heavy after being in weightlessness for a few weeks. Wow, that's so fantastic. So, Terry, I have to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us today and just talking with our listeners about what it's like to be an astronaut, the effects, and some of your interesting thoughts. It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. Been a pleasure, and glad to talk to everybody, and have a good day. Hey, thank you so much. Terry Virts, astronaut extraordinaire, and it's been an absolute pleasure having him. This is Kiss My Ash Radio. We hope you're keeping it lit.
Since their humble beginnings in 1998, Drew Estate has believed that the production floor is the crossroads between art and passion, and where the real magic takes place. Drew Estate Master Blender Willie Herrera has crafted a unique medium-bodied line extension that is creamy, lush, and ultra-smooth, and finished off with a flawless shade wrapper that delivers satisfaction in spades. Continuing the story from their factory floor, it is with great bravado that the Drew Estate presents Under Crown Shade, a true Drew experience.
Do you love delicious beer? Do you love delicious cigars? Well, we have the perfect cigar for you. The Quesada Keg, a savory Nicaraguan cigar draped in a beautiful Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper and packed in wooden barrels. The Quesada Keg was blended to pair with the traditional Irish stouts we all love to enjoy on St. Patrick's Day. Available in 3 tasty sizes. The Quesada Keg is available for a limited time only, so grab one today before they sell out. The Quesada Keg, the perfect cigar to pair with beer.
Hey, cigar enthusiasts, did you know your personal freedom to enjoy a fine cigar is affected by some form of smoking ban in all 50 states? Additionally, taxation on premium cigars is at its highest level in history, with some states taxing at an astronomical rate of 75%. Finally, there's a solution. CRA, Cigar Rights of America, is the first and only nonprofit public advocacy association fighting for your freedom to enjoy a fine cigar. Don't just sit there. Become part of the solution. Become a CRA member today. Membership is only $35 a year. That's less than $3 a month. And as a special bonus, CRA will send you 2 limited edition cigars as a way to say thank you for joining. Visit cigarrights.org for more information and to become a member.
Since the dawn of time, the universe has been constantly evolving. Now experience the evolution of flavor. Sindicato Cigars, available in Ecuadorian shade-grown Corojo and San Andres Marron wrappers, are beautifully crafted by master blender Arsenio Ramos. Using a double-leaf binder and meticulously box-pressed, Sindicato Cigars provide the perfect draw to deliver the evolved flavors you won't soon forget. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer of Sindicato Cigars.
Look, everyone knows working out sucks. Getting healthy and in shape was easy, everyone would be doing it. But imagine an environment where workouts were specially designed for dramatic physical changes, where you have personal supervision of a certified trainer and a group of supportive, like-minded individuals working alongside you, constantly motivating you to do your best. This is why CrossFit has swept the nation. Check out CrossFitChrome.com for our newest location in Boynton Beach and see how you can get your first month for only $29. That's CrossFitChrome.com. Eat, sleep, chrome, repeat.
Quality and value are always the 2 biggest determining factors for consumers when making buying decisions. Casa Bella by Sindicato Cigars offers superior flavor, quality construction, and an affordable everyday price. Completely handmade in the Dominican Republic, these value-priced, smooth yet flavorful cigars are comprised of Dominican and Nicaraguan filler tobaccos, and they're available in natural and Maduro wrappers. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer of Casa Bella cigars.
I could barely remember, but my first time was on my boat. Winning!
My first time was in the locker room at the gym after a grueling workout. My first time was on a cool, crisp morning right on the 18th hole. Everyone remembers the first time they had Hex. Hex cigars are the perfect balance of body and flavor that will have you reminiscing long after the embers have gone out. Visit syndicatocigars.com to find your nearest authorized dealer today, because you will always remember the first time you had Hex.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio with Honest Abe, Adam K, the Brewmeister, and the lovely Lady M.
Welcome back to Kiss My Ash Radio. Adam K, the Brewmeister, here with the incorrigible Honest Abe. And you just heard my fascinating interview with astronaut Terry Virts, a very decorated, fascinating guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely great to speak with him.
Gotta be amazing, man. Really. I mean, I just don't think you can even fathom going up in space and looking at the Earth.
Like, here's this tiny little golf ball, tennis ball sized object.
Right.
And that's where everyone lives.
Everyone, everywhere.
Yes.
I mean, it's just...
And you're passing it almost once an hour.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And in all of time, only 533 people have ever traveled to Earth's orbit, made it to Earth's orbit. You know?
Out of the currently 6 billion that live on the planet?
Well, I mean, it's history.
And that's history. No, I'm saying there are
right.
6 billion people that currently live on the planet.
Only
503 ever.
533 people have ever traveled to the Earth's orbit. Only 24 people have went beyond the low Earth orbit. And only 12 people have ever walked on the moon.
Yep.
What a small, amazing group of people to be part of, man.
Yeah. Fascinating. Great guy, great interview. We hope you enjoyed it. And now it's time to see who belongs in a cigar insane asylum this week.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum,
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
where logic and reason cease to exist.
Well, it's too bad Lady M had to leave because she actually had some experience with this.
I think she said she's mentioned it on the show before, but it's time to see who belongs in a cigar insane asylum this week, brought to you by CLE and Asylum Cigars.
All right. A husband whose new wife had a one-night stand with a dwarf stripper gets the shock of his life 9 months later. A newlywed bride in Spain had to confess to cheating on her husband with a dwarf stripper after she gave birth to a baby with dwarfism after 9 months later. The husband had no clue until the confession that his wife cheated on him. He thought throughout the pregnancy the child was his. The woman met the stripper at her bachelorette party and had sex with him afterwards. According to the Spanish news site La Cinco del Dia, not even the woman's closest friends knew about the secret affair. The woman reportedly confessed to the incident as she held her newborn baby in her arms. Well, ma'am, you, without a doubt, belong in this week's Cigar Insane Asylum.
Absolutely. It's just utterly, but, I mean, dwarfism is only, like, in 0.0-something% of the population. So
Is it hereditary? I mean,
it
one of the parents have to be a dwarf?
It is hereditary. However, like, normal people like me or you, we can carry parts of the gene, and there's also a very slim chance that 2 dwarfs can have a normal-sized child as well.
Wow.
That's like, it's a very large pop.
Because Lady M made out with a dwarf.
Yes.
Because
she told him he was wee man.
Yeah. He told her he was wee man. She was, in Mexico or something?
Yeah.
She made out with him.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Always a good time when you think someone is wee man.
Well, this story was brought to you courtesy of Asylum Cigars and CLE Cigars.
Make sure you stay out of the Cigar Insane Asylum.
Absolutely. Anyway, we know who got on the show next week? Was it? Who's it? I can't read lips. I'm not a lip reader.
No, not a good lip reader.
Michael Herklotz.
Michael Herklotz. That was my 8-year-old daughter yelling through the sound glass. Thank you, Petra. Michael Herklotz of Nat Sherman next week.
We'll have to talk to him because this weekend he's at Emerald's dinner in Destin, Florida. And where they do a big charity dinner with cigars, and Emerald does a big cooking thing. So I know he's there this week. It's a really good time. I know he's having a lot of fun there, eating a lot of fantastic Emerald's food.
Wow, good stuff.
So we'll definitely see what Herklotz has got going on in the wonderful world of Nat Sherman. He's always a fun, dapperly dressed guy.
Yeah, 10 to 9s, always.
If I've ever yet to see him in simply a T-shirt and jeans, I will die a happy man.
Well, he is extraordinary when it comes to his fashion.
Absolutely. This has been episode 204 of Kiss My Ash Radio. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Special thanks to Casey Haugen of Crux Cigars for being on, Terry Vert's Astronaut Extraordinaire. We'll see you next week. Keep it lit.
Palm Beach's hottest party and best value at Spearmint Rhino and Okeechobee and Military Trail. It's the Vegas party scene and entertainment at local prices. When's the last time you've been to the Rhino? Friendliest staff and service with awesome specials.
Like $2 Eucala, including Grey Goose, Crown Royal, and even import beer.
The Spearmint Rhino, where the real party happens. Don't forget about $10 Tuesdays and Friday Power Hour. Free well drinks from 5 to 6 p.m.